Hey Flosstube, I am Tamara. I am PD Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross stitch. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome. A big welcome to all of you. I hope you stick around, and if you see something you like, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, give a like, all the things, all the YouTube things. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for putting up with my inconsistency in posting recently. It's been a while. It's been a wild couple of months, especially August. We are now well into September. It is the second weekend of September. So, yeah, it's August and did not have the posting that I wanted. Like I was not as, I can't think of the word. Y'all, I'm still suffering from brain fog. August was not as consistent, that's the word, as I would have liked to be. With stitching, with videoing, with sharing with you all. It just wasn't there. It started great. My arbitrary August started great, and then it just took a nosedive. I mentioned it on my last video. If you have not seen that, I did end up in the hospital for 5 days and had my gallbladder and my appendix removed in the middle of August. So that kind of just, my stitching bug, my interest in doing a video of myself looking like I just had surgery, it just went away. I had no interest. I didn't even stitch for probably over a week. It wasn't there. But I'm back. I look much better than I did the last time, because I videoed the last time and shared with y'all right after, not right after surgery, but like right after I'd been home for a day or two after my surgery, and I was still feeling really puny, and I looked kind of gray still. I feel so much better. I'm back to me. I like me. I like the me that I am right now, the healthy me. So what do I have? I have no notes today. The only thing I have on my computer is like the details for fabrics, designers, things like that. So I will be looking at my computer, which is right down there, occasionally, but I have no notes. So this is going to be as sporadic as my brain tends to be. I apologize for that in advance. I was going to film this earlier this morning, but I was getting ready for church, and I had pulled out my dress last night that I was going to wear to church this morning, and took my shower, got completely ready for church, and was sitting down to film a Flosstube and realized that that was the exact same dress I wore the last Flosstube that I did, and I didn't want to do that. So I waited until after I got home from service, well, from Sunday school, and changed into my Clemson track and field t-shirt that my daughter gave me, since she's on the track team at Clemson. So I don't think I've worn this in the last couple of videos. So I do own multiple items of clothes. I just tend to wear the same ones over and over. So if you see me in the same items repeatedly, I do own more clothes. I have favorites. Do y'all have favorite clothes that you just wear over and over because they're comfortable? And yeah, the dress that I had on this morning, it was comfy, and I wore it right after I got home from surgery. I wore a sundress almost every day because they were comfortable. I have like a lot of t-shirt type material dresses, and they were soft and comfy, and they made me feel good after my surgery, so I wore them. But when I went to film this morning, I realized that was the exact same dress as the last time, so I had to wait and change after church. So it is 11:15 on Sunday, September 10th here in South Carolina. It is a mostly sunny day right now. Got some sun coming in from the window. The boys are up here with me because I'm the only one home, so they're hanging with me, hoping to get this all in while my husband and daughter are out at the grocery store, and she's doing some driving training with him. before everybody comes home and it gets crazy again. So we shall see. A lot of so's. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to say that, but it's a habit. I have no, like I said, I have no notes. I have no finishes. I have no starts. So it's just whips, works in progress today. A little bit of stitchy goodness. A giveaway win that I had won, and a little bit of haul. And then some life stuff and some plans. Not really plans. I'm just kind of winging it right now. But we'll talk about the winging it plans when I get to that. So what do I have? My first one is, I'll pull out my board, and I think I have unzipped everything that needed to be unzipped. So those of you, I do listen to Flosstube sometimes wearing earbuds, and I know that when somebody unzips or slurps or something, it can be loud in your earbud, so I try to minimize that for everyone. Sometimes I miss something, and I apologize in advance. It's kind of just life here in my world. So the first one is Christmas 2. It is a Heaven and Earth design. The artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. This is the cover photo. And here is where it was the last time I showed you. I finished a page, y'all. I'm so excited. And I've gotten a good start on the next page, not the second page, but the next page. So I finished this page right here. And I've done all of this on this page because most of that is 3 colors. 09, 814, and 310 is most of this new page. So it's gone very, very quickly. So once I finish this page, and I have, I think it goes to right here, I will probably move the Q-snap, and if I time it well, I'll be moving the Q-snap when I am about to share with y'all so that I can have the whole thing out and show you everything so far. I don't like taking the Q-snaps off just to do a floss tube because it's a pain to get them on and off. Because I am, especially on something this large, because I'm very, I don't know, OCD is not the right term, but it stresses me if it's not straight. And like right now, this right here is stressing me because I can't get this tight enough. And it's not straight right here, but it is what it is. But I will redo the Q-snaps like 6, 7, 8 times just to get them on correctly. And that's time I could be stitching, so I try not to do it a lot. So that is Christmas 2. That has been my full coverage focus piece for this year. I'm hoping 10 years maybe that I'll have it done. I have too many full coverages and not enough lifespan left, I think. So I have to live forever because I need to finish all of these pieces, and I still always want more, so, you know. So my next one is Giggles in the Snow. It is a Mirabilia. It is my first ever Mirabilia. Here is what it's going to look like, and here is what it looked like the last time I shared it with y'all. And here's where it is now. I realized my needle miner has nothing to do with Giggles in the Snow. It was just hanging out on my needle miner thing, and I needed one for the other day. So here's where it is. I'm using 32 count white opalescent so that the snow will be kind of sparkly. But I've got a good bit of her scarf done and some of the excuse me, the outer snow pieces. And then I'm starting down here on her jacket. So I just started this in August. And it's looking pretty good. I'm very excited. This needle minder I got from Mad for Minders. It actually matches the gnome that I'm working on. But it wasn't on my gnome piece, and I needed it the other day because I took this with me to my daughter's soccer practice, and I needed a needle minder on it, and that was the one that happened to be. I put all my needle minders when they're not being used. I attach them to the stand of my lamp. And so that was the one I pulled. Giggles in the Snow is usually housed in this Barefoot Needle Art project bag with the little skatey penguins. Are they cute? So I'm deciding if I want to work on it some more this week when we go to soccer practice, or if I'm going to work on something different. So if I do, I'll take it off the Q-snaps and stick it back in the bag. And if I work on something different. But for right now, it's out because I don't know. I don't know. So my daughter plays soccer for a club. If you're new here, she plays soccer for a club who is an hour and a half away from where we live. So 2 days a week, we drive an hour and a half to go to practice. And while she's at practice for an hour and a half, I sit in the car. I usually bring a little lamp light, a little portable lamp, and stitch, because it's at 7:15. Her practice starts at 7:15. There's not a lot of stuff to do. Well, I mean, there's stuff to do, but nothing I want to go do from 7:15 to 8:45. And it's obviously way too far for me to come back home and then go back and get her. So I just sit there and stitch. I get a good hour's worth of stitching done while she's practicing, because usually I do eat my supper while we're when I first get there, and then stitch the rest of the time until she's done with practice. So I mean, I have a good chunk of time to stitch in the car while she's practicing. It's been I don't get as many stitches done in the car as I do when I'm stitching at home, for whatever reason. Same amount of time. I don't know if it's the focus or too many things going on around me. Lately, it's just been that it's hot, and so I have to make a decision on, do I roll the windows down and just sit in the car with it off and sweat, or do I keep the windows up and keep the car turned on and the air conditioning turned on and stay cool, but then I'm wasting gas, which is not cheap. And we're driving an hour and a half each way twice a week just for practices. So I use a lot of gas up for that, and I don't really want to waste gas just sitting there with the air conditioning on. So I think that's a lot of it, is I'm just sitting there sweating, and then I just don't feel like doing. I don't move as quickly because I'm just sweaty. So I'm hoping it's going to start cooling down. This week is supposed to be cooler, so we'll see if I get more stitching done with the cooler weather. I'm very chatty today. So my next piece is in another Barefoot Needle Art bag. These are Sun's. And this is Pretty Little Washington, D.C. by Satsuma Street. And here is what it looked like the last time I showed you. And I'm trying to get my act together and get it all folded correctly in front of my board, but here's where it is now. So I did a good bit of work on the dome and some work down here on the bridge, because I can't focus on anything longer than 30 seconds. So I worked on the bridge, then I moved up to here. Who knows where I'll move next. This was one I worked on week before last at practice. This is my little Peppermint Patty needle minder, because I love Peanuts and all the Peanuts characters. So one of my girls is a history major, and for her senior trip we went to Washington, D.C. So this is for her. She's a junior? Wow. She is a junior in college this year. I would kind of like to finish this before she graduates from college. We shall see. I have a year and a half before she graduates. Can I do it? Probably. Will I do it? Who knows? Because that wouldn't involve me having to focus on a piece for more than, 400 stitches at a time, 300 stitches at a time. Sometimes, y'all, there were days this past month when I got 11 stitches total on that day, or 0. But there were days when I stitched and only got 11, 30, I think one day I got 56, because I do count my stitches and I do keep track on a spreadsheet so I can kind of see which pieces are getting a lot of love so that I can give, so I know which ones need some love because I haven't focused on them. But it's been hard for me to focus on stitching in the last month and a half. So, okay. So this was on, hold on, I need to look. This was on 32 count color and cotton Requiem. I apologize. Like I said, I'm not always good about that. It will be in the description box below. If I do not say what the fabric is, it will be in the description box below. The next one, and this is one that I do work on a lot at soccer, especially at soccer games, like during her warm-up, and sometimes I even stitch during her game because it helps me not yell as much. I watch the game, but I'm also focused on this, so I'm not yelling and, acting crazy. This is Autumn Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is, and I'm so happy that it's almost autumn. Y'all, I need autumn so bad. And here is where it was the last time I showed you. And this is on 32 count color and cotton Harvest Moon. And here's where it is. I've moved it down. I think the last time I shared it with y'all, I hadn't quite filled in all of the apple for apple picking. And I didn't have any of this. So I've filled in the rest of apple. I've done picking and the sunflower. I like the color I got for the sunflower so much better. And I've started on the G for Give Thanks. So like this is easy. I can just do a letter or two at a time while I'm watching the game. I can do a letter, look up, watch the game, do a letter or part of a letter. This is it very much lends itself to stitching at her games. She was supposed to have a game last night at 5 o'clock. We had thunderstorms here all day yesterday, so that got canceled. So we have to make that up in October. So I didn't get to go to a soccer game yesterday, which meant I got to stay home and stitch on Christmas too. So it got a little bit more love than this probably would have, because I just sat and watched football, college football all day yesterday. I got to watch my Clemson Tigers win a game, because last Monday was pitiful. Our team seems to be struggling just a tiny bit this year, and we struggled yesterday for a little bit, but then they pulled it out. But so I watched college football for most of the day and did a lot of stitching on Christmas too. I got over 500 stitches put in yesterday, and I do that one 10th stitch 2/1, so it goes faster. And then the next one, this is my last whip for today. This is World of Disney 1 by ZAnna Cross Stitch on Etsy. This is the cover photo. This is where it was the last time I showed y'all. And y'all, this is a beast. This is the largest project I have. I don't even think I'm at 1%. It's going to be huge. And it's going to take me forever. I said that, I need to live forever. Christmas 2 is coming along, and I still need to live forever for that. This one, holy, it still has a lot of work to go, and yeah, I'm going to have to live forever. But I filled in a lot of this tree right here and a good bit of inside here. I'm going to finish this page, hopefully, before the end of the year, and then move up here and do diagonal pages. I am going to do a little bit of parking. What I do is I do cross country on the page, and then I park below. So if parking threads stress you out, then you probably really did not like Christmas too, because I park all over the place on that. But this one is just, I just park below the page, and it's only, I only park if they're going to be in the first set of blocks on the next page below. If it goes any lower than the first set of blocks, I don't park. I'll just finish it off, and I'll start a new thread the next time I go to that page, if that makes sense. This is on 32 count white easy grid, so it is very tiny, and I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. Oh, I lied. That was not the last whip for this one. I also lied. I had a new start. I think. Did I start this before? I think I started this after I saw y'all last. Okay. I started the fox from Cottage Garden Samplings, and this is on 32 count Picture This Plus Nocturne. And I know y'all probably all are familiar with this because I am far, far behind. Because these all came out almost 2 years ago now, and I'm just now stitching them. So I think this is a new start. I don't remember when was the last time I visited with y'all. Hold on just a minute and let me see if this was a new start or if I'm just insane. I don't know. Thank y'all for being patient. Yes, I started this since the last time I saw y'all. So this is a new start. I love it on this fabric, y'all. The white just pops on this blue. So I did not have, I thought I had completely kitted this up, but apparently I did not have the orange for the fox. And now I just received an email from 123 Stitch that it's back in stock, which means I must have tried to kit it up and that color was not in stock. So now I need to get it. But I'll talk about that more in plans. But look at this white popping. Is that not just gorgeous? That's his ear. And then these trees. They're so pretty. So I'm going to love this one. I can't wait to get the orange so I can actually start like really working on the fox. But I think that's a pretty good start for my birthday start. This was, if you joined in with me, the Foxy Birthday Sal. Because I said if you were stitching on anything with a fox, whether it's the fox from Cottage Garden Samplings or anything else with a fox, join in. I've not been good about going on Instagram, y'all. So I need to go on and see. I know a couple people have joined with me. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten your name. But from Owl and Gator Stitching, like I said, I still have brain fog, y'all. It's bad. But Owl and Gator Stitching joined in with me, and she started the fox, and she got a lot more done than I did on her start. But you know, if I need to look in there to see if anybody else has joined in, so that I can share about those as well. So that's all my works in progress. And y'all just, I'm hoping they just stay right there because the dogs are asleep on the bed over here. So everybody's good right now. So I said, you know, I had a new start I've forgotten about. I had several whips. I have no finishes because that's just not who I am. I have a little bit of stitchy goodness. So let me share that first. So every month I get the new snowman from the snowman series from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is the Pirate. And I have a monthly subscription, I guess, through Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery. Sammy Jo had some health issues going on in August, so she was a little bit behind in mailing stuff out, which is completely understandable, and I completely understand because I had health issues myself. So, you know, I was just grateful that she got to it when she could, and I'm not starting it anytime soon anyway. So, Sammy Jo, I'm glad that you are starting to feel a little better, and that hopefully you will continue to progress in your healing. So I have that. That's my only like actual purchase. And then I won a giveaway from Carla at Craft Addict K. Glendon places the Scarecrow. A sociable scarecrow. I'm sorry. Y'all, look at that crow on the pumpkin and the pumpkin's faces. I cannot wait to stitch this. Cannot wait to stitch this. This is going to be so much fun. I need to figure out what color I want to do this on because I see it on this like beige, got a little bit of harvest color in there, but I could see this on like a blue with the sky, like the sky, and have a blue background. I don't know. What do y'all think? Would it look okay on a blue? It would be light enough that like the blue here in his little patch would still show up. Or should I do it in a neutral, like what they have it on? I don't know. Thoughts, opinions, share. Give me feedback. So that's it. That's all I have for like stitchy acquisitions. Plans. I try to work on a quarterly basis that I touch all of my whips in that 3-month period. So I have a few whips that did not get any love in July or August that I'm going to focus on in the month of September. So I need to put some stitches into those. One of them was Pretty Little Washington, D.C., so that one I can take off my list. And then I have 5 others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 others that I want to get some love into. So that's Milo's little tail. He must be dreaming of something good because he's asleep and just wagging his tail. So I have 5 others I want to get some stitches into. I'm also trying to focus on full coverages this month. One of the groups is doing a game where you put 1,200 stitches into your full coverages and try and do them in the order that you started them in. I'm still working on the 1,200 stitches on Christmas 2, which is my oldest whip. So once I get that one done, then I'll move to my next oldest full coverage, so on and so forth. I don't know how many I'll actually make it to. I have 5 or 6 full coverage pieces. Most are big. I have a couple that are smaller. We'll see. So those are my plans. They're very not in concrete plans. And then I also, because on Whip Go this month, was spun Winter Wisdom for 500 stitches and Home of the Brave, which would be a new start. So I'm looking forward to doing that one. I love doing new starts because, you know, I need more stitching in my life. If you are not familiar with Whip Go, it is the brainchild of Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on Flossstube. And it's a bingo board where you can either put 25 things in and have one in the center square. I did not. I made the center square a free square, but I put 24 items in the blocks. And then every month, Jessie Marie pulls 2 numbers. The month that she draws the number 13, because that is the middle space, she draws 3 numbers that month because a lot of people are like me and they have it as a free space. So you're still only doing 2 projects. If you put something in that middle space, then the month that 13 is called, you'll have 3 things to work on. I did that one year. Never again. I like having the free space. So far, I've kept up with my Whip Go board this month. It's still early. It's only the 10th. I think I have time. I can get 500 stitches in Winter Wisdom and Home of the Brave. But that might mean that I don't get quite as far in the full coverage projects that I want to get in. I'm okay with that. I still have 3 more months and lots of years left. So 3 more months in this year and many more years, I will get to those full coverages. It just might not mean that they get played in this game this time. That's fine. I like the games and the challenges because they do help me focus my stitching. Sometimes I'll look at my bags and go, okay, I don't know what I want to stitch. But the games kind of help me focus. Although sometimes I can get overwhelmed in playing the games and then I just crash and burn. But it is what it is. Right now I need the games. It's helping me focus. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my poor little brain that's not cross-stitching related. Cross-stitch helps me kind of focus my brain on not the stress in my life. So speaking of, if you were only here for the cross-stitch, I bid you adieu if you want to tap out. Thank you for joining with me, and comment. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe and be a new part of my little community. If you are here for life stuff, here we go. Here's my life stuff. So it's been a while. I had a birthday. Last time I talked to you, I had just been out of the hospital just a couple of days, and then I had a birthday, and I got to go see my child who was at Clemson. I was not able to go move her in because I was in the hospital. She moved into Clemson the day I had surgery, so I didn't get to move her in. Everybody else moved her in. It was great. I was happy for them and thankful that they were able to do that, but I missed my baby, so I went up there and visited her, and she's doing good. And then this past weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend, she had her first cross-country meet as a Clemson runner. And she did phenomenal. She had a new personal record for a 5K cross-country race. She came in second for the Clemson females and 9th overall for the race. So, that was exciting because it was her first one and she really has worked hard. So that was Friday, and that was about 3 hours away from her meet was about 3 hours away from where we live. And then the next day, Saturday, my youngest, who plays soccer, she had a soccer game about 30 minutes from where the meet was. So we just stayed up there. We got a hotel room. We stayed overnight. So we went to her soccer game the next day, and she did really well. She had a goal. She had an assist. She's been playing really hard on this new team. She loves her new team, loves her teammates. It's been a great move for her. The driving is a little, sometimes it's a little overwhelming, but she's happy and she's finally loving the sport again. She had a couple of very unfun seasons with teams where, the teammates weren't really teammates. It was kind of an every man for themselves. They weren't supportive of each other. They didn't uplift each other. It was, I want to do well so that I can have a highlight reel. And this team is very, great job. It's very encouraging. So the atmosphere has made it worth the drive for me, in my mind. So that was that. Then this past week, my washing machine went out, so my husband's trying to fix that. So I've had some days at the laundromat while he's trying to get the washing machine repaired because it's a GE and nobody in our town will fix a GE washing machine. Lovely. They used to, but then GE got bought out and it's a whole long thing, but nobody in our town, no repair place, will fix a GE washing machine. So my husband's trying to fix it. But I've been at the laundromat. I don't take stitching to the laundromat. It's too stressful for me. I can't. I take a book. I take my Kindle. I can do that while I'm at the laundromat. I can't stitch. It's just way too much. Work's been good. I got cleared by the doctor. I'm back at work. I did have my follow-up visit with the doctor after my surgery. They did a biopsy on my appendix because they took out my gallbladder and my appendix. They did a biopsy on my appendix and found that if they had not removed it, there was a growth on it. And if they had not removed my entire appendix with the growth, everything it would have turned into a very ugly tumor. So for that, I am grateful that my gallbladder decided to act up when it did, so that when they were running all the tests to see what was going on with my gallbladder, they saw the appendix in the CT scan and the MRI and took it out at the same time. Because had that not happened, I could have just been walking around for a couple more years with my appendix intact and this growth on it, and had a much different outcome. So I'm very thankful. Very, very thankful. Y'all, other than that, it's been great. It's been crazy. I've got next weekend, my youngest is doing her driver's ed class, her in-person class where it's the classroom setting stuff. And then she's going to have some driving instruction training with the driver's ed company, in addition to what she's already doing with myself and my husband. And hopefully she will have her license soon, which will be so very helpful. My one who is in college still, not the one that's at Clemson, but the one who goes to college locally, she auditioned for a play, one of the campus dramas musicals, and she got a part, so that's very exciting. She just found that out this past week. She had auditions on Thursday and found out on Friday that she got a part, so that was very exciting. Just lots and lots of good stuff happening here. It has limited my ability to get some stitching in because we're busy, and that's okay, because there's going to come a time when I don't have all the kids at home or nearby, and I'm going to have lots more time, and I'm going to miss them a lot. So, but I'll have time to stitch. I'd rather them be here and me be able to do all the stuff with them than have extra time to stitch. So I'm really enjoying the time I have with my kids. It's been hard. I'm still really emotional about my child being off 3.5 hours away at school. I miss her a lot. I am grateful